It's Dr. Tennant's Verbal Highs. Let's start the show with Lewis Tennant. Here we go. Guests and interviews that you're looking for with creators, innovators, and so much more. For all episodes and further info, verbalhighs.com is the place to go.
Welcome to Dr. Tennant's Verbal Highs, a podcast from Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, New Zealand. My name is Lewis, and I'm the host of the show. If you're new here, kia ora. If you're not new here, you already know all of that, but welcome. Episode 115 or 116. That's a good sign when you're starting to forget what number you're up to. Episode 115 with Tim Provise, who I'll talk about shortly. But yeah, today, folks... podcasts, they say the idea you can kind of listen to them any time of the day or night, very different to radio, and so they're what's called evergreen. But I'll still timestamp this one by saying that today is the first day that New Zealand, and particularly relevant for Auckland, arguably, goes into the traffic light system, which means we come out of what's been our longest lockdown so far. Most of you are probably living it, so preaching to the zombie choir here, and that means I can go outside, which, again, probably universal. Most of us have been for a long lockdown, unless you're listening from somewhere that hasn't. I'd have to look on a map as to where hasn't, but the idea of going outside, in theory, is a great freedom today, but at the same time, I have been inside too long, and like a domesticated animal, outside seems quite scary at the moment, but I'm going to go and have a look, maybe, I don't know, chase a ball in the park, wee on a tree. Yeah, so today's a big day. I think it's been about 107, 108 days or something since then. So how did I come across Tim Provise, who I would have called Tim Provise in this intro, which would have just been a nightmare. But luckily, because I was listening and watching a bunch of his content, because you see, I first met him on the screen, on the words, on the text on the screen. It's Tim Provise, which makes much more sense as a name for a content creator, performer, podcaster, and YouTuber. And Tim, I found Tim because, man, podcasts are great. Like, the amount of people getting solid audiences in their lane, in their area, in their whatever you want to call it. There's so much out there, I reckon, and so Tim's an example of someone with a really strong following, and we talked a bit more about it off mic, as they say in this game, and there's more good stuff coming from him. But anyway, he posted on this Podcast New Zealand page, which, to be honest, the page isn't up to much kind of chat and activity wise, but it has its moments, and it's about podcasters in New Zealand kind of having somewhere to connect and chat and ask advice and all that sort of stuff. You guys know about special interest Facebook pages. Anyway, stop rambling, mate. He posted something I thought was very sage about the New Zealand Podcast Awards, which happened. But anyway, someone said, what did you think of it? And Tim said something I thought was quite sage. And so got in contact with him to come on the show and chat to another podcaster. And we went from there. It was a really great chat. And he's a raconteur and a smart guy. And we had it's got a good energy, this episode. Anyway, he does a lot of episodes. You can find those at the Provise Project. Oh, no. I thought I nearly said it wrong again, but that's right. I mean, like, a lot of episodes a week, some really great guests. He's only kind of come into being on the mic like this in the last few years, as he tells it. But then he also does these monologue shows, which are actually really, I think, really quite hard to do and capture an audience. But I only got through a couple, and I was fully engaged without really thinking about it, and kind of like wanting to reply to a couple of things and having a giggle. So that's a good sign. I mean, that style's Bill Burr. If anyone knows Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast, if you want another great total troller, by the way, in a smart and kind of social commentary kind of way, Tim Dillon's podcast is really great. There's an episode called, if you want to start with one, if you've not heard it before, US comedian Tim Dillon, start with a Thanksgiving tale. Basically, has his take, quote unquote, bunny ears on the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. And it's hilarious and very cleverly put together. Right. Okay, so another thing, lastly, this is the first second public announcement. I had another guest on called Pete Get Flushed, the host of the world's only portable sanitation podcast, which I love, which is why I kind of had him on. Again, because it's like people are out there with audiences in these different particular areas, and he and I have since struck up a relationship, not that kind, and we have put together quietly behind the scenes, it's going to be launched properly in the next wee while, a podcasting summit for all of New Zealand. And I've asked Tim to be one of the panelists. If you are a podcaster or interested in podcasting, or you just want to come along, for now, total placeholder. But as I say, we want to get it out and do it right. NZ Pod Summit is the page on Facebook. We've got other socials up. Let's not worry about that for now. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think the power of language is really important, eh? And I refer in this chat with Tim to the event as my event, because things are often said in conversation that aren't quite accurate, and it's certainly not my event. It's Pete and I's event, but more importantly, the whole idea of it is it's going to be a yearly gathering for the podcasting community. So it's kind of all of those fellas and fellesses event. And hopefully that'll do good things for podcasting in New Zealand. God, how many times have I said podcasts? Anyway, all right, look, hey, like my show, if you will, that'd be lovely. It's a currency of likes and follows, and you can do so on Verbal Highs Podcast, Facebook, Verbal Highs on Twitter, also on iHeartRadio and Spotify and Google Podcasts, and you can like and subscribe and leave a star rating and a comment on Apple Podcasts. All right, Tim, take it away.
Verbal High, straight down from up above.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good, brother. I'm good.
Great. So I don't know how you do it on your show, but I take the method I learnt from a number of podcasters overseas, and I just hit record and jump on in, and you seem like a man equipped for that task based on our short dalliance with each other last night. So firstly, when I talked to you yesterday, you said, "Who are you?" to me, but in a way that kind of like threw me a little bit, like in a good way. I'm like, why is this guy asking me this in this way? And I'd had a really busy day, so I'm not sure I answered you very well. Why did you ask in that tone? Who are you, Lewis?
Because I think sometimes, are we recording or not?
Yeah.
Oh, we're recording now. Sorry, bro. I didn't. Normally, it comes up and it goes, "You are recording," and then
I use I've got a Rodecaster here, so I'm recording into the desk.
Sorry, brother. Okay. Why did I ask that? You know what, bro? Sometimes people, a lot of people that do have podcasts, sometimes we forget that, like, I'm just interested in people, bro. Like,
no, it was good, man. The way you say it, the way you said it, like, I was before the call, I'm like, I think I'm going to like this guy, but it made me like you that bit more. And then also, as I say, I'd had such a rush day, and it was a bit of a curveball of a question, and I'm like, oh, no.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that, like, sometimes we eliminate that from when we're ringing people. We just, and I think the way that I worded it, if I can go back in my mind, I think the way that I worded it was, bro, I want to know who you are, bro. Before, because I mean, I know who you are, but I really actually wanted, and I legitimately, authentically wanted to know, because a lot of people don't. They just do the, what do you want? And fuck, I know, I get it a lot. Okay, I get a lot of people that are like, "Oh, bro, can you help me, or could you post this, or could you do that?" And and that's Katie Pie. I'm all good with that. But at the same time, it's good to just meet people, and I like people, bro.
Man, I like podcasts, both, hosting them and also being an audience member, because you start to contemplate these sort of themes come up, and they relate to the listener, whatever they're doing in their life and whatever. And the reason I say that is what you just said there, it occurs to me that I ain't no saint, and what I mean there is I have been that needy, whatever person throughout my life. I'm just really lucky at the moment that I'm in a real comfortable space with work and stuff that I can do the podcast as a total kind of passion project. Like, don't get me wrong, I want it to do it well and I want listeners, but I'm not hanging everything off it, so I can afford to be kind of helpful where I can. So I'm glad you noticed the podcast database, because that's a quiet thing I've been doing, and I think it's the only database, you know. Just to
piggyback off that, bro. When I first started doing the podcast, the Provise project, I was like unsure. I didn't know. There was no Kiwis out doing stuff. The only Kiwis that I saw doing things, the only New Zealanders that I saw doing stuff were either part of NZME or RNZ, and they
you got it. Yeah,
they were independent. So for me, I was like, where do I go to see how I'm going? Where's my measuring? Like, am I close to where I need to be?
Yeah, and also like. The phone don't ring like, say, the radio back in the day or whatever, so I hear you there. Like, occasionally I'm out somewhere obscure, like just the most obscure times, someone will go, I heard your podcast, I really like it. But yeah, I agree, you don't get that. It's really hard the way we engage with each other on social media these days to gauge what's a connection and what's just a like. Like, I've had one woman, actually, this is quite funny because it's really lovely. She's like really supportive, but it kind of like took the wind out of my sails a bit as well when she tells me this all these months later. She likes every single time I post an episode up. She's got her little like thumb up, you know, and sometimes it's only 3. And then about 8 months in, she's like, I've never actually listened to one. I should probably listen to one. So this is the way I see it. And I want to unpack how you got to doing the podcast, because you're a busy man. Like, I think it's quite amazing, the output. Your digital output at the moment. So I'll start with, for the listeners, walk through the basics of the projects that you're doing at the moment, and then we'll go into more depth with them later on. So in other words, introduce your awesome pie, pastry-based YouTube show and your podcast, and also your Twitch stuff.
Okay. So just a background on people that tuning in, they're like, who this fella is? My name is Tim. I go by the moniker of Provise on social media. I wear a lot of hats, but I just want to be. It's weird. I can't say I'm one thing or another. I have multiple things that I do. Like, there is. Like, you just mentioned 3 of them, but like, there's a lot of other things that I do behind the scenes. I am a father of 3. I'm a teacher, a full-time teacher at intermediate school. I am a basketball coach. I am all these things, but a lot of people, they know me as Tim Provise online. I go by the my podcast. When is this coming out, by the way, brother? So I know.
Oh, look, you know, if we keep this plane on the runway and we don't have to pull out anything, then look, I could probably get this up tomorrow morning. You know, this is like
okay. So I can't mention a couple of ththings.
Oh, okay. I can delay it if you want to mention some stuff.
I get that. Yeah, but like so I have the podcast. I do a podcast called the Provise Project. It's really whatever I feel like making it. Like I do interviews. I normally do 2 a week. And they're not just like interviewing anybody. I interview some real kind of influential people in Aotearoa. I think, I've had Biola Kowale, who's a Hollywood actor. I've had Joseph Parker. Who else? John Campbell, Shefu. Like, I've kind of gone through the gambit. Jack Tame.
Shefu's a unicorn, man. I'm going to listen to that. Good on you for getting him on. Like, I'd imagine that guy, it's probably not his comfortable space doing something like this. So for you to get him, that's a real coup, man. You must have been stoked.
It was very early on in the project, and like, it comes down to the vibe brings the tribe, man. Like, he saw my shit online. He knew who I was. And he was like, I can vibe with this dude. And all of his people were like, this dude means well. And I've been a huge fan. I think there was like episode like 20.
That's awesome.
And now I'm up to like 150 something. So but we can go through all that. I do the Provise projects. I pre-record a lot of stuff. Like I'm always backlogged with things. Like at the moment,
I don't know how you can have more content on top of all this stuff you get up, man. That's amazing. Good on you, man.
Yeah. At the moment, I'm like, because I'm staying at my mum's house at the moment. Me and my whānau are here. We're on transition to moving. So, I can't record to my standards. So I had to really, during the lockdown, I just went hard. And I was doing maybe 20 interviews a week just to get sorted.
But even I was going to talk about this later on, we'll jump ahead, this is the way chats work. Even just the time to listen back, do you listen back to say that double episode with Servier? Do you listen back to the 2 hours to make sure it's okay?
Yep, hold up, brother, hold up. Here's going to come up. There's going to be a lot of times where I'm going to come off like a cocky motherfucker. Yeah, that's okay. Right. Can I swear in this?
Yeah, you can do what you want, man.
Okay. I'm going to come off but I know, I got to a point now. This might be cocky and fuck you if you think I am, but I know going in that if I'm prepared beforehand, I won't have to edit.
Right. Yeah.
So if I know all my hits and I know exactly how the things I want to talk about and we'll get to the conversational side of things. But if I knew that I'm going to hit shit, then I'll be like, okay. And if I finish a podcast and I've hit every single note, I call them jabs. Yeah. Jabs and combinations. If I hit every single one, then I know that I'm like, fuck, sweet. I don't have to audit that.
Even if you come into it thinking you're the man for episode 1, you do get better at it.
Yeah. And then I have to edit shit for the socials, which we'll talk about later. So I'm always I've got a process now that I'm like, okay, cool. I know that this is going to hit, and that's going to hit.
I'd imagine, you'd go up episode, Instagram image up, post up, something like that. Do it all at once and bang, 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 it's been deployed.
Yeah. So I have the podcast, which I do, and that comes out Sunday night. I do just a rant. So we call it Welcome to Monday.
You do a South Auckland Bill Burr.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. That's exactly. Right. I saw what he did, and I was like, I can do that shit.
And you know what, bro? Kudos to you, because I listened to one, and I'm going to listen to a lot more of your stuff. Not many people, I think, could do that. So,
thank you. And you know why, though? Is the reason why I knew that I could do that is because I knew that people like listening to what the fuck I have to say, even if it's bullshit. And then that's project number 1. Project number 2, which I'm more known for, a lot of people in the street and most people know me for, is online series called The Bakery Run, which we're just about to film season 5. And it's pretty much me. I go around Aotearoa and I check out different pie spots with guests. We've got a big season headed as soon as these traffic lights are sorted, and then we can go ahead and do that. I do another online series called The Shack with my friend Regan Fa'au, who is goes by the name of Justin Norms. Yeah, and that's a comedy series about it's a parody series about one person trying to crack it as a podcaster in his garage.
So is this sort of like a one set sitcom kind of deal? Obviously it's not TV, but is it like a kind? Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
and it's made for socials. That's at the moment got just about 3,000 on Instagram, and we cracked probably a good 20K on views each episode we pop.
Great.
So it's not about numbers, but that's
it sort of is.
Sometimes it is if we go for funding a little, but nobody will fund us.
There's meaningful numbers. I don't want to get too boffiny or we'll lose our audience, but I'm not going to name names. There's someone in that Facebook page that we're on who's been chiming on about his YouTube hits, and that's great. But I know when I did some online music shows over lockdown, even just on Facebook, when you actually look at the analytics, a lot of those 1,000 likes or hits or whatever are 2-second views and then off. So that's getting back to what you're talking about earlier on. That's really hard to measure, but I noticed it with your show and mine that we have not a lot of shows get like genuine comments and support comments on iTunes. It's a really minor thing, but once you get quite a number of people there and some likes, you're doing the right thing.
I got more projects.
Sure, yeah, keep going. Sorry, yeah,
man, I got heaps more projects. I'm doing I'm shooting like a little. I'm writing a short sitcom at the moment for looking at getting it funded. It's around unteaching racism in schools. With going around with Taika Waititi unteach racism thing.
Right, and so does that go? Is that like up to a website for a school resource, or is it on TVNZ on demand? Or
we're in very, very early stages of it.
Yeah,
so
cool.
we get that, and then just radio work. Like I'm looking at, I've got a couple of things lined up that I can't really speak about right now, but
that's what you were being all hush hush about before.
Yeah. That's why I was like, man, when is this coming out? Because I know that it will be coming out very soon. But some radio stuff that.
So I need to get my head around this. So if I'd have delayed it a few days, you could mention it now.
People will see it.
All right. Okay.
So and then, man, I'm just a very lucky dude. I'm very humbled that I've had this. That I've stumbled upon this gift of talking, and just kind of, I don't know, like I'm pretty sure I'm ADHD. Like I don't know. I've never been tested, but I know that I can't sit down and watch a movie. I have a lot of things going on, and I'm just always on the go, and I'm always doing things that I know that I love to do and brings me joy, and so I just do it. Like I'm just I'm
so just quickly, everyone, just a little bit of further context here. Tim also has a full-time 9 to 5 job or 9 to 3 job, and is a father. So I don't often feel like a lazy man, but every now and again it's nice. So I need to figure out how we got to your one-man media empire. In the last 3 years. So hang on. So start at the beginning. I know you're a South Auckland boy.
South Auckland, born and bred. Clinton,
I worked out, and I could be horribly wrong here, but based on your reference to your mother and Severe having a tete-a-tete about whether to get the Naughty by Nature single or album, that you must be late 30s to early 40s?
Oh...
Or were you like a little kid when that went down?
Nah, I was a little kid. I'm man. Why you want to blast my age on the fucking internet?
Oh, because the reason I do it is it gives me
35.
35, great. Well, yeah, you don't look. I shouldn't have gone over age. The reason I do that is it carbon dates you in pop culture. I like to figure out where you are.
I know, right? And then everybody, all the people are like, you said that you were 34 on this episode, and I'm like, I lied, bitches. Fuck yes.
So one of the tests I do for people when we get into this conversation is, so Thingy was a significant part of your childhood, right?
Yo, Thingy was the jam. I'll tell you why Thingy was the jam, because his eye fell out on fucking TV.
Well, it actually didn't. Did you know that?
Remember that one?
Did you know that? Did you know it actually didn't? It's one of those things where people have heard it happened, but it never actually aired. What part of South Auckland did you grow up in?
Clendon,
what school did you go to? Clendon, which is where you're moving back to shortly, which we'll get to later.
No, I'm in Clendon right now. I'm in the middle, the belly of the beast right now. I went to Rewa Central. My mum had to lie to get me there, because like Rewa Central is a nice school, and I was in Clendon, so I had to transit every day, and then I went to James Cook, man. Let's go, JCHS. Let's go.
I'm not an Aucklander, so that doesn't mean a lot to me.
Is that like whoever's listening to this will go, JCHS? You must be one of them fucking hearty brothers. And yeah, I am.
Yeah. And what kind of youth were you at school?
I was naughty as shit, G.
Yeah.
I was extremely bad.
Yeah.
Like,
to the point where it like hindered your progress in class, or just like the class joker?
I was the kid that did no work, but the teachers liked. Right. And they were like, oh, he's got so much potential because I could talk.
You work the room and you're smart.
Yeah. From juniors from 5. I could work, but I was able to work a room.
But that's very different to setting fires and stuff. So yeah,
I've set fires as well. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've been in trouble with that kind of shit. Like, yeah. I grew up. I mean, bro, I grew up without a dad, so my only kind of people that I had to hang with were my boys. Yeah, and when my boys out stealing cars and robbing houses.
Oh, really? So you're out running the streets from quite young.
Yeah. I was smart though. I was like the dude that was like, I don't think I'm not gonna fuck with that. And then I'll find a way out, and then they'd get in trouble. I'd think, but like, you know, like shit.
But like your home, like your mum's holding it down, and she's just working all the time, or whatever.
Bro, like that's it. Like she had to work like 2 jobs. Who's gonna look after me? You know?
Yeah. The latchkey generation, which I am a part of as well, for sure. And then when you left school, did you go through to probably what would have been 7th form then, or did you?
I somehow managed to finish and get 7th form and get through it, but I had no clue what I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was play basketball. Like, basketball really saved my life. I was all right. Hey, I'm busy. I was all right. I was pretty good. Yeah. I played second div, but I was just small, like 5'7", 5'6". So, like,
where do they put a 5'7" cat on a basketball court? Where are you?
I was quick.
Yeah, sure.
And I had handles.
Yeah,
I could handle the ball. I could handle the rock.
Yeah.
But we had a good team. We had a good team. But yeah, basketball was kind of like, I didn't know what I wanted to do with basketball, and I was really lucky. I had this lady called Michelle McCormick, who, funny story, her uncle was Gary McCormick. Anyway, Michelle was in charge at MIT. I was working at the rec center because I wanted to make some money doing basketball stuff.
This is Monaco Institute Tech. Monaco Institute of Technology. Yeah.
She came through and she goes, "Yo, you're good. You're good at this shit. You're really good at this stuff. Would you like to get a scholarship?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
And the basketball or
no, for to learn about coaching and stuff like that. Yeah. Michelle really looked after me. And
so you're saying when you left school, you fell into coaching and earning money that way?
Yeah,
nice.
And then I got injured. I got injured really badly, and then I started coaching like with crutches on, and then I was like, I'll just do this, and then that was kind of like the start of my coaching journey. Yeah.
And I love asking corny questions every now and again when they feel right. But what did you want to be when you grew up? When you were a ute?
To be honest, man, like when I was up until about 17, bro, I had no clue. Like when I was a little kid, when you're little, you always have these things, but
I think even then people don't have clues. They go, I'm going to be every second girl's like, I'm going to be a marine biologist, bro, like, I'm going to be a fireman.
Growing up, when you grow up in low socioeconomic places, like you're just trying to, like, bro, I was just trying to eat, to be honest, bro. Like, I know that sounds really like corny and cliche, but
no, I get it, man. I get it.
I was just like, I was just trying to get through it. Like, I was trying to figure out how to survive.
Well, speaking of like corny and cliche in a really good way, like you fell into mentoring people for money, doing the thing that was keeping you out of trouble, which is sport.
But I think the other thing too,
and lighting fires.
I was just really good at. I was really good at talking. I would get in trouble and I would talk my way out of stuff. And like I used to think it was just because my skin was white. I was like, because my bros were all brown, and I could talk out of shit because my skin was white and I'm a Māori. But I was like, I'm a fair Māori, so everybody is like, "Oh, bro, why are you hanging with these cats?" And I was like, these are just my mates from school.
There's so much to it. Like, say, I'm not saying it was police or whatever, but say it's someone that's...
probably was.
But I'm going to say it's someone assessing you based on your name. Like, people don't realise how many levels there are to prejudice. Like, you don't have a Māori surname either, There's all that bullshit that goes with, like, being assessed in that regard. You know what I mean?
Oh, bro, like, I've had it all my life, man.
Yeah.
I've had it all my life, and, and I'll continue to have it till I die. But, like... That's the thing is like I was good at talking.
You'll continue to have what till you die? People like, I don't miss that. What will you have till you die?
Oh man, like the perception of, he's a white dude.
Yeah,
and well, actually, like more.
You know what my mum told me about her partner, like decades into them going out, it had just never come up before. He is really high up in the New Zealand Police Force, right? He gets followed around shops still because he's Māori. brown skin.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But you know what? People need to assess people better, because you know what? Most people would look at him and go, that's a policeman. The moustache, the haircut, you know. But anyway, yeah. She reckoned he'd go to the local bottle shop, spend good money there all the time, and they'd still case him out, even though he owns it.
Oh,
it's bad, man.
I used to get away with murder, bro. Me and my bros used to go to the Clinton New World, bro, and just steal hard. And bro, I'd walk out there like nothing. And you know,
the lotto shop. I know the story is you're stealing all the Source magazines.
Yeah, that's me,
freighted in.
Yeah, man.
You know,
that severe. It was funny, that severe episode, bro, because like, I had a lot of other podcasts that kind of led up to that. Like, you know, like little stories. It's funny, bro. Like, because I share so much with my audience and stuff, and they'll hear stories twice, but like that severe episode, there was a lot of little tiny. I interviewed King Kapisi, and then I did a little bit of that, and then linked to something there. And you know, when I talked to Athena, that linked to the lotto shop.
I've had that too. You start, when you get a bank of guests up, you start to, without even realizing you're going to do it, you link back. You say, oh yeah, I was when I chatted to Bill, like Caps in that episode, and then it starts to be a join the dots between all the episodes and the stories.
That was why the Aotearoa Hip Hop podcast that Phil did was so mind blowing for me.
So mind blowing,
because I was like, shit, he talked about that. Shit, that's right. I remember such and such saying that, and kind of took the research work from me. Oh, so now I can just go there now. But
small thing that might interest you, because you asked about it on the podcast with Phil a couple of times. Because I'm from Wellington, and I'm from the kind of that station that Uncut Funk was on some years later. Right. I DJ'd down there, all that stuff, so I kind of know Wellington fairly well, especially 90s. So I wasn't there in the 80s. I was a little kid. But so TP came along to Uncut Funk, which is the first hip-hop show in New Zealand, because a guy called Mark Cuby went down to sell advertising to the nightclub that TP was working at, and the guy that owned the club said, my DJ is such a cut above all other DJs are doing at the moment. You've got to remember, this is before people were cutting up records and mixing and stuff in New Zealand. I'll support or sponsor your show if you get TP to come up and be your co-host. Which to Mark was like, great, I've got this amazing DJ as well. So that's where the lineage started. One thing that buzzed me out with that show was, and you cut together a really good promo, like playing it up. How do you manage to like pull out these obscure nuggets about your guests that buzz them out? Like Phil, one of them, Phil was like, I don't even think I've said that. I've only thought it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I do it for all of the guests. Have you heard my John Campbell interview?
Oh, I'm early in, bro, but I'll listen to some more.
I'll tell you what, if you're looking for those nuggets, my G.
So is it just deep research for you doing that? Like just listening to and reading whatever you can?
This is, and again, a lot of your listeners are going to go, this dude is cocky as hell. Okay? I think I'm a bit of a savant when it comes to that shit. Like, I'll find out a little bit of information about someone, and it will stick in my head for years and years and years. Yeah. And I'll go, fuck, how did I remember that? And then
the particular piece of information that Severe buzzed out on, folks, and you should all go and listen to Tim's podcast after this, is that he associates the smell of grass with Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Keys of Life album, because his dad used to cut the grass with it on. But the reason I tell that whole story is that Phil goes, I don't even know if I said that. He said something like that. He goes, I thought that had only ever been in my brain. So he must have said it somewhere and you picked up on it.
No, he never said it anyway.
Well, you're not reading his mind.
Have you seen The Mentalist? Have you seen the show The Mentalist?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
You know what I mean? Like that guy reads things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a magician never gives away his tricks, my friend.
That's true, yeah.
No, with that one, okay, so...
I thought you were going to keep winding me up. I was just going to go, whatever, bro.
It is a long, like, process. He actually never said it on wax.
Yeah.
He's never said it on something. He said it to somebody that I know.
Great.
And then I knew that dude, and I said, bro, if I was to associate something, and he said, no. I was like, bro, what do you reckon his earliest thought is? And then my bro said, oh, bro, I remember Phil said to such and such that his dad, like Stevie Wonder,
was
the GOAT because blah, blah, blah. And then And a lot of the times, bro, and I know, like, you know, you're early to this to me, and that's Katy Pie. But what I do is I word it in a way that makes, and this is my trick, right? This is why I'm saying I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit of a savant like this shit.
Yeah.
Because I word it in a way that makes me sound like I've done all the research when I actually am just taking a swing in the dark.
But you have done the research because someone's told you that, so you know the information.
Yep. But there's other things, like it's the lead up to that, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just.
I see. So you're you're suggesting that you set it up like a comic would their punchline or their
exactly.
Kind of, right. Yeah.
I knew that there was my fact, right? Yeah. I knew the fact was that his dad used to cut grass, and his dad's favorite record was Stevie Wonder's "The Key of Life." So I put those two together, and then I took a swing in the dark.
Oh, okay, you actually did shit. Okay, I thought, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I took a swing in the dark, and I said, bro, is your first memory of music listening to songs of Key of Life when Dad's doing the lawns? Listen, like, I just swung and it hits, and I've done that a lot of times.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm reading. Like, I'm always thinking. It's funny, like Biola Kawale, who's like, I interviewed him, and now he's like my best mate, and he just like messaged me, like he watched every interview and asked me how I do these things. And honestly, I am like, I read what the facial expressions, I read how it's all going, and then I just plan. I plan how I'm going to get there.
You do, so and for what it's worth, bro, I appreciate you. I've seen you talk about that or reference it a number of times, like the word research, because like a lot of podcasters don't realize when they start off that it's very rare to be like Joe Rogan and just riff the whole time. Otherwise, it's very hard to, and also quite boring for the listener if there's no kind of plan going in. Or
but that was my thing, bro. That was my whole thing, Lewis, is like, how am I going to be different with the tools that I have?
Yeah.
Like there's fucking hundreds. There's hundreds of fucking people that think that they're important to listen to.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, fuck, look at all these numbers I'm getting on or whatever. Like, people I should be getting way more. Bro, that's the wrong mentality to come into it. My mentality is that I'm here to impress the fuck out of whoever I'm interviewing.
Yeah.
And if I can show them that their time means a lot to me by doing my research, by making sure I'm on, to making sure that I know the process that I'm going to get this motherfucker on one line. Like, I'm looking at Phil and I'm thinking, I'm going to get you on this line. And the way I'm going to get you here with this green grass cut shit. Yeah. I'm going to set you up with, the forge and what's the smell of the forge. And then I'm going to set you up with what's the first smell at the, you know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you another version of that prepping that's worked out really well for me is, I talked to T-Pan. I don't know if you know him. He's one of my favourite newer New Zealand rappers, guy from the Hawke's Bay.
I know the man.
And I talked to Peter Ehrlich, who's, Peter Ehrlich. And
True Bliss, right?
Both of them, though very professional at the beginning, were not disinterested, but they were kind of sounding me out. But then, I don't know why I distinctly remember these two, when they both realised how much I looked into who they were in their background, they both locked in and gave me an extra, like, however much they're going to give me, because they realized that, someone was there to use their time valuably. So it's a good thing, man. But that sounds a bit sort of high horsey. So I wanted to come back to that. Yeah. So the thing with like desiring likes or whatever you call it, like as many ticks as possible in this social media world, kind of comes back to what I was saying before. You're talking about like the difference between richness and reach. So like you might have quite a small audience. I don't mean you. I'm meaning statistically the podcasts that do well have a pretty small audience, but they're really dedicated and they're really connected to the host and the show. Like trying to be a Rogan or a Serial or whatever, that's actually statistically improbable, and I see that you've got that. That's what I was trying to say to you earlier on. I can tell by the way people are engaging with you on social media, you've got richness, man. And I think it's important with reach. Do you understand what I'm getting at there?
Oh, bro, different, right? Bro, it's speaking my language. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. There's old, you ever see that film Belly in the 90s?
Bro, that's my film, G.
When he talks about guns and butter, I just realised it's the same sort of thing. Likes are guns, eh? And another thing with lining up those kind of guests, like I have known people through other people, through having been involved with the music industry and with radio, so it's kind of helped me get guests. So with you lining up those arguably like, you know, bigger names to begin with, did you know them through similar crews or friends or whatever, or was it just cold calls?
Okay, brother. I'm a bro I'm in the middle of the hood, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows who the fuck I am. Like nobody, I knew no one. The only person I knew was fucking, bro, I'm telling you, I've been doing this for like 18 months. That's all I've been doing it for. I knew no one. Nobody knew me. And I knew people from Twitch. Those were my people that came over to make me kind of, okay, I could kind of do this, yay. And then, bro, I got somebody I asked on Twitter. This is how I'll tell you, this is how the fucking snowball happened, right? I was on Twitter. I put on Twitter, yo, who should we interview? Somebody tagged John Campbell. John Campbell goes, sure, I'll fucking do it.
That's awesome.
And I go,
he's so great, man. Yeah.
Fuck?
Yeah.
I'm not, this is episode fucking 15, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You just caught him and the wind was in the right direction and, you know, he'd had a good day.
And then, no. I knew for a fact, so I did some of those Nardwar type shit on a couple of the guests that were my mates.
Yeah.
I knew for a fact that if I could pull this shit off, if I could get John Campbell in and somehow just do the same shit, then I'd be good. So I got on a fucking train. I went into Auckland National Library and I fucking researched the shit out of that man. I knew everything I knew that man was on Radioactive. I knew that he did the alternate
rugby
commentary, the rugby, and his thing was
Sparky
fucking
plug-in friendly brains. Yeah.
You see this is what I'm saying about the savant shit, brother. I get these little nuggets of things and I'm like, fuck, how do I know this?
So before you know, there's obviously a big gap between starting your media empire a year and a half ago, and
I don't know what you call it there.
I'm just winding you up. I'm just winding you up. Okay. You love it. You love it. No, wait.
Okay,
I need to ask you. So obviously there's a big gap between coaching and then finding all of this, but you have been doing Twitch for a while. But what I was going to say is, so you had no inclination or kind of feel or pull towards trying to do some kind of presenting when you were younger? Like you didn't think, I should try and get voice work for radio ads, or no? Yeah.
Nah, bro, I was all like
you're saying it's geography. A lot of it's geography.
Bro, and like, bro, who the most famous person I know from my hood, is fucking I'm not gonna say that actually. I'm gonna incriminate myself.
It's the head of some. It's the head of
not incriminate myself. Some criminal motherfucker that got in trouble with the law and was all over TV.
Someone who dresses in all one color.
Yeah, he was the only famous person I know that was on TV.
Great.
I'm literally. Or maybe I did get Joe Rogan.
The High Court trial went for 6 weeks. He got really good primetime TV.
And he literally lived like 4 houses from me. And I went to school with his brother.
Wow.
Like I'm like, that was the most famous motherfucker that I knew. Yeah. And then so I didn't really have any inkling that I wanted to do this.
I think that's a fair answer.
Being a good talker and talking my way out of stuff. And then I found myself on Twitch and I did fairly okay on Twitch. And that involved me. I learned a lot from Twitch. And you're probably like, it's not just playing.
I'm not like I'm an open-minded guy. That's why I have a podcast.
So a lot of people play video games on it. I didn't even play. I played video games, but not really. I would pause the game and I would just talk to whoever's in the chat because in my head, I'm like, yo, those dudes can pay. I don't want to play the fucking game.
But there's a lot of people who do that. Like I've heard comedians on podcasts talk about how they make money basically for being the funny dude online playing the game.
Yeah, and so that's what I was the New Zealand version of that.
Were you earning money? Were people throwing coin your way?
Hell yeah. Fucking A.
Like you don't have to give numbers, but is it like worth your while? Like is it?
Okay, so subs, it's actually not.
It's not like, it's not work. Yeah, you'd have to be a celebrity.
That's actually the biggest reason why I moved to podcasting.
Bro, I gotta say, man, we're going all over the place here, but it's a sign of a good conversation. No. I mean, that's a trait of mine. It's good. I'm keeping this plane firmly on the runway. That's the other thing that's difficult here, bro, that I've thought about is like the tyranny of just our size. Like the sort of people I have on my show and the sort of audience it has, I can identify the same show in, let's say, New York or London, but relative population, they can make a living off that show with advertising and stuff. So we're always faced with, especially with these smaller audiences, that there's only 4 or 5 million. Anyway, last thing I want to say on the Severe ep, because that's why I asked whether you knew him beforehand. You did something really brave, but you pulled it off. Like he didn't front on you after you did it. And it was when you said when you were first on TV, you weren't a very good TV host.
Yeah, because I'm fucking, bro, I'm fearless.
But I like Phil. He was a good man. Bro, he's sort of processed it and he went, well, that's a fair statement. Because then he goes, I got better the next time. Yeah,
bro. Yeah. Man, if you go back and you have a look at if you look at the library, my bro, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yo, I've told Susie Cato, like, yo, I bet, like, no, hold up. Well, I'll tell you where that started. Yeah. I asked John Campbell, like, if the Predator wanted to suck him off, would he let it? Would he be like, if the Predator was like, yo, I need to suck your dick if you're going to like and take your seed back to my country or back to my planet, would that be all right? Like, because I'm like that, because that's
I've heard this secondhand that he is completely filthy off here, like in terms of swearing and
we had a fuck counter because we did it live on Twitch. We had a fuck counter.
Yeah,
we got up to 186.
He would have loved that. Fuck. Yeah. And it's funny where he pulls it out, like, because he's just like that naturally in private, but it's funny where he pulls it out on something like that, because he's really careful. I've seen him be really, I've seen him ride the line more on other shows, so it's good, man.
But not mine, mate. When you watch it, or when you go and listen to it, you'll go, holy shit, like, John, because I think that's the thing that I create. This is what a lot of people have said, is that I create this space for people to just be themselves, because I'm outlandish and I say some bullshit. Like I've seen some really fucked up shit, and it's not like offensive. It's just like I asked the person that wrote the Panthers. I said, why is there white people on this shit? Yeah. Like it's about the Panthers, right?
That's a fair question. That's not offensive.
I know, but nobody asked them that.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay. And here's the thing: I'm all right with being an asshole. Like I'm fine with being an asshole.
But I think you like to paint that you're an asshole, but you're not an asshole. That's why the show is appealing.
See? But like, there's a little bit of asshole in there.
All right, Timmy, tough guy.
But like at the bottom of it, underneath it, there's like a valid question why I'm asking this. You know.
No, for sure. I probably wouldn't call that guy up the road from you, Timmy, tough guy. But
but like I've had people from the LGBTQ community, and I've asked them like questions that a lot of people are just scared to ask. Severe knew I was from the streets, and he knows. He knows like people are like straight up, and he's fucking straight up like that all the time anyway.
You know, it is what it is. Like, be a nice person, ask some good questions, be smart, be funny, and open people's eyes to whatever it is or whoever it is you're talking to. I'm interested in your hit rate because, like, my thing I struggle with is I've run out of people that are easy to get as guests, so I don't hit up enough people. Like, do you hit up like every 5 one person will say yes, or do you generally get a lot of yeses?
Bro, that's an interesting one, actually.
It doesn't have to be a hard science. I'm just basically getting across to people it's a hard yaga.
No, bro,
it's a hard yaga.
I feel you on that. Early days, like this time last year, it would be, for every 5, maybe every 10, I'd hit. But because I'm so strong on social media, I get a lot of yeses now.
Great, man. And also,
sorry, bro.
No, sorry.
And I also get a lot of people hit me up. Can you interview me now?
Yeah.
Which I never thought would happen.
That's great. Like people who other people know.
Yes.
Because I've had like one where a workmate was like, can I go on your podcast? And I'm like, well, you're a lovely guy, but I don't know if we're going to get an hour and a half out of talking to you, mate.
No, I used to be really nice about it.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, I'll just go fuck off.
Yeah.
but here's the thing.
Damn, doesn't take long.
I get it from multiple angles, bro.
Yeah.
I get it on the bakery run. I get it every day.
Yeah.
Like, you get people fucking, bro, if I could show you the fucking outlandish DMs I get on a bakery run, it's
asking you to be involved. That's
asking if they can come on. Yeah. Can I come on the bakery run? I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, I don't know who you are.
Oh, that's cool, bro. You got a following. That's great, man.
Bro, you don't even know the half of it, my brother.
Yeah.
Like, I get stalked in the fucking malls, G. It's
that's
pretty
great,
bad,
man. That's great. That's such a success story for, like I say, like, it's so hard because we're all chipping away in little corners of the internet,
but sometimes, bro, I just want to eat my butter chicken. You know?
need merch. You need merch, man. I know you're buying a house.
We got merch. We got merch, brother. What are you talking about?
All right.
Come on, my G. We got that exclusive shit. You feel me?
Yeah. What is it? What do you got?
So
I'm kidding. You have to tell me. We've got branded kimonos. We've got slippers.
You got to understand something, Lewis. All right, I'm a street hustler, my G.
Yeah,
I know how to hustle that shit.
Yeah,
I know that if I wear a T-shirt on a bakery run, if I put it up for sale, and I say, yo, we got these for a limited time. I've only got 100 of them. Who's selling them? I tell you what, I sold out. I made these. I
you could do a collab as well.
With who?
Well, with some brand that wants to like take you on, and you just sit back and let them do it all for you. Yeah,
we got that too, brother.
Yeah,
we got G-Shock coming on board soon.
Nice.
So like that's the funniest thing is like I said, like I'm good at talking. I'm good at like being who I am, and I just stay in my lane, bro. Like, I stay in my lane and I just run my race, and that's what I'm doing.
And just to remind everyone, you work fucking hard, and obviously a lot. Because even Cam, who I've got involved with the event that I've told you about, Mum's the Word, it'll be announced soon. By the way, got the logo today, designed by Otis Frizzell. Woo! It's brought the event up, mate. It's looking more real. Anyway, chatting to Cam from Wes Network. He's another one I found online. You know Cam, who started the West Auckland, like basically Polynesian podcast network. Yeah. And same thing with him, like different tasks to you. But that, bro, he basically is a full-time architect who manages to run this kind of podcast empire from his garage of about 7 or 8 shows now, right? It's a lot of work. People don't realise. Hey, one quote I heard recently that I think is really good is talking about finding guests and production. It's easy to start a podcast. It's hard to keep a podcast going. In other words, like, large number don't survive. You're fine. Statistically, you're in there. G-Shock's involved, baby. You haven't done 3 episodes.
Shout outs to the bro Lee hooking it up. Sorry, yep. Keep going, brother.
So, look, where are we at? He looks at us. Oh my goodness, that's a sign of a good conversation. So the pie. Look, the pie show is such a great idea. I have thought about doing something involving pies. I kid you not, because it's such a universal Kiwi thing. But that's very different. You've actually gone and done something. You've got a YouTube show. And basically the premise is you go and try generally the steak and cheese and the potato top. And then you generally get a sweet as well. Is that a fair assessment?
No. We have the steak and cheese and then we just...
Sorry, what did I say? Steak and cheese and potato top?
Yeah, the steak and cheese is the benchmark.
But then you generally have a second as a potato top.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, bro. We've only had one.
Oh, what's the second pie normally?
You're exposed out here, Lee. Come on, bro.
That's all right. My name's Lewis.
Research, my
name's Lewis, by the way. It was doing so well. So, what's the second pie normally?
Whatever we feel like.
I think you've had a potato top on more than one episode.
No, only one. We did it with Beast Mose, my good friend Beast Mose.
Is that out? And that was a terrible bakery, and he was really unhappy that you...
That is Beast Mose. He's he's a co-host on my Thursdays podcast.
Well, look, steak and cheese is a natural first choice, but you have a combo of just you, and then sometimes you have a guest. Just chat a bit about it, man. Has it been fun along the way? Like, how did it come about? Who films it? Who's the filming for you and all of that sort of stuff?
Okay, so one of my mates, his name's Will, and he is the fucking most genius motherfucker you'll ever meet. Like, he is a smart dude.
Yeah.
So I've known him for a long time, and he used to work for TBNZ, and then COVID came along, and he got let go of his contract. And he just said to me, he came to me, he's like, Tim, bro, like, have you got any ideas around doing like some content? Like, let me know.
Great.
And then, I hit him up.
So did that come along after the podcast?
It was about the same time. So I started the podcast in the first lockdown where I was like just talking to random people that I knew from Twitch.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's always known that I can kind of be funny.
Yeah.
I think I am. And then, and then he just says, can you do one? Let's just do maybe 2 episodes and see how it goes. We did the first episode. We got like 10,000 views in like fucking 24 hours.
Great.
And then we're like, fuck, this is crazy. And then, bro, if I look back at episode 1, I had no clue what the fuck I was doing. I had no fucking clue. I was like, damn, where do I put my hands? Where do I look?
Hey, you look at the pilot episode of anything, man, you know.
Oh, man. And then the second episode came out where we did it in Drury, and we just A/B tested it and seen what people liked, what people didn't like. We gave it to a couple of the bros and said what would be fun about this, and then we just came up with an idea around how to go forwards. But Will honestly, like, Will is the guy. Like, I'm just the pretty face that's in front of it. He's the guy that's doing all the editing and the shooting, and it's just a 2-man crew. It's me and him.
Well, I think you're forgetting the bakers there, Tim.
We don't really know them. They don't want us in their bakery a lot of the time.
That's right.
So and
really,
and bro, we get told quite a lot.
But you're just like, you're real polite, and you go in there and eat their pie, and
yeah, but we're well known now, so like everyone's like, no, we don't want you to put it, because we've done some bad ones. It's not just all. I'm honest.
Well, if you make bad pies, then you got to be prepared for a bad pie review. I was shook by the Kingston one, because I was going to come and chat to you about how the bakery in the main part of Kingsland by the railway station is really good pies. And then you went to one up the road, because I lived around there for years, and you gave that pie at that sort of quite a flash bakery. That's probably why I didn't normally go in there. It looks like kind of like gluten-free kind of place, and you gave it a 10 out of 10.
Mate, I'll tell you what, the Baker's Cottage.
How many 10s have you given out?
Not many.
Yeah.
But the Baker's Cottage I think it's the best. It's the best in Auckland. I'm saying, like, it's very good.
Okay, so
hey, it's just my opinion. Fuck,
well, look, no, I think you are you're a media commentator for pastry goods in New Zealand now. So I have some questions for you, and also I have Tim, if you'll be so gracious, I put up a post on my social media asking if people would like to ask you things about pies or bakeries, in fact. So I need to go and check that. It's either going to be no one or a few. I had a tattooist on recently. Boy, man, to my listeners come through some great questions.
Yo, let's go.
So first thing really is, and I know you talk about this on the show, people can go watch later on if they haven't seen it already, in your expert opinion, as one of New Zealand's leading pastry and bakery commentators, what makes a good pie?
It depends on what kind of pie. If you're going to talk about a steak and cheese pie,
let's stick with that.
Yeah,
chicken's too weird.
We need to get away from. So when you do the gravy, when the bakers do the gravy, there's a very fine line with putting too much corn flour in it, or flour in it to thicken the gravy so it doesn't just pour out. Yeah, there's a fine line, and if you can find that line, it's the hardest thing. The steak needs to be soft and ready to just melt.
I would agree with that. And it's got to be what's the word? It's got to be significant. It's got to be good chunks of meat.
Yep. Who's the expert here, though? Are you asking me or?
No, I'm colour commentating, mate.
Sorry, mate. Hey, this is a one-man show. Okay,
sorry. Did you know that I just want to tell the audience. I just want to tell the audience that Tim took control of the Zoom call before. I didn't know what that meant. I looked. It was like some sort of hostage situation on my computer. Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, and the cheese, making sure that the cheese is at least visible, Yeah. And
at least visible. The bar's set low. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you can get a pie and it's just hardly anything in there. And then the pastry just nice and soft. Not too greasy, clean on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
You sometimes some of these old pie trays, you'll get them and they're all dirty and gross on the bottom.
Yeah, and you look at the food grade and it's like, oh boy.
Yeah. And then it's just around. It's just a feeling you get, you get a feeling, but also you did have some more nuanced, I guess, some engineering rules or principles. And one of them I agree with, which is that you don't want it too crumbly, especially if you're driving. I have messed up many a car seat
with a way too crumbly pie.
Oh man,
and they are kind of like portable food. That's right. Now, lastly, when you talked about the corn flour, often I was going to say you squeal, but that might offend your masculine values. But you become animated about jelly in pies. Is that the corn flour thing? Is it?
It's the when they put too much.
And I agree.
And it becomes like jelly, and it like AJ Hackett bungee jumps out of their shit, and then all of a sudden, you sit there. But like each to their own. Some people like a bit of jelly,
And there's other jelly called aspic that some way how makes its way into stuff like pork and stuff. Now, I'm sure someone's asked you this because again, you are now one of
Let me guess.
New
Where's
Zealand's
the best pie? Is that what it is?
No. New Zealand's. I'm no hack. New Zealand's leading media commentator on pastries and bakeries. Someone has surely said to you, Tim, have you had an Australian pie? They're terrible.
They are terrible.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, I have had some of those servo pies that are like an oblong.
Yeah.
And they're not too bad, man. But
it's about their laws. Like their laws for what needs to be in a pie are very different, much less amount of meat and so on.
We get a lot of people saying, funny story, Auckland is our main demographic by far. Number 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all in Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they Kiwi run or Aussie run?
No. This is people that watch our show.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, so people that watch our show are mainly in, number 1 is Auckland because that's where a lot of pies are. But it's all Melbourne, Sydney.
I'm surprised maybe someone's done it by now, but I reckon if like somewhere like Perth where a lot of people go to work, like miners and stuff, if someone opened a Kiwi pie shop over there, they'd kill it, man. That could be the next thing you go into is retail.
And it's funny, like we did a Wellington season, but like Wellington's like number 8, like Christchurch and fucking Northland and Tauranga are backing us more than.
Oh, hey,
Wellington.
another thing I thought of is like when you went to that quite janky bakery with your mate and the pie was really hard and he was quite unhappy that you didn't like it, but it's what he grew up with, so it makes sense. Like, do you factor in like price, because obviously a $2 pie compared to that place you went in Kingston looked quite flash, so it's too much to add to it,
we just go off the pies, bro. We just is it a good pie?
A couple more questions, then I'll go to my social media, and that'll either be great or it'll be a complete disaster. Have you run into, obviously there's people having a bit of fun with it, but some people are either awful people or they are stupid people. So have you run into tension and controversy about your pie rankings that you see as unfair? In other words, if people had a go at you for your jovial YouTube pie show,
at least once a week I get somebody that wants to fuck with me like that.
Someone slides into your DMs.
I'm not that, and I'll put this out on your podcast. I'm not the motherfucker to fuck with. Like, I will tell you that you're a piece of shit. Yeah. Like, I've had people like call me names.
Like customers of these bakeries or bakers or...
Oh, man, just people. Like, I've had people like, why aren't you fucking going to such and such bakery? Nobody should fucking... bro, we get it all the time. And it's funny because it's part of why it's the gift and the curse. And if you're not ready to, if you're not ready to take that, like I've got it in real life too. Like I've been out to dinner and somebody's come to me and go, why the fuck did you talk like shit about Hong Kong bakery? And I'm like, I'll laugh and I'll go, bro, it's just a bakery, G. Like,
yeah, and it's a comedy, fun YouTube show. Yeah, about
I remember I was at Denny's, bro, with my family, and I don't know why I was at fucking Denny's, to be honest.
Because it's open 24 hours and the prices are...
Yeah, but it's bloody disgusting. But anyway, I was there, and with my kids, and this dude was just like, yo, fuck, bro, Hong Kong bakery's all good, it's your shit. And I was like, gee, I'm eating food with my kids at the moment, my G. Yeah, so...
Just thought I'd come and give you some listener feedback.
I'm like, damn, I get it. But I mean, the positive always outweighs the negative. Well, and keep this. I always get people say they love my shit, and
keep this one under your hat for next time someone says you should be doing this, that, or the other thing, because it's been said to me, and I'm like, I've not said this, but I'm like, I'm not funded by New Zealand On Air. You know, funded by your taxpayer money. I'm not responsible for all those what those big media organisations for. I just picked up some equipment and looked into how to do this. So if you want me to do this, and this, and this, then with some respect, get some equipment and you start doing this, and this, and this. Because that's all it takes.
I just send them my PayPal, Jig. That's all I do.
Yeah.
I send them the link to my PayPal, and I say, "Sweet, I'll do it, $50,000." And then they shut the fuck up.
To go to that bakery, yeah.
I'll say, "Yo, it's about $500.
Yeah,
if you want us to go there," and then they shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody's going to pay for $500 just to see me eat a pie.
But when it happens, man, it's going to be it's going to be like a patron. All right, let's look at these questions. All right, actually, there is some there. Great. When I did this with Dr. Simon Morse, the tattooist, he said, "Are you making these up?" But these are from my page. I mean, this is okay. Pete says, "Does pineapple ever belong in a pie?"
In a pie?
Yeah, pizza pie.
Nah.
Okay.
Maybe a pineapple pie, like a Samoan pineapple pie.
Actually, the North Americans are more used to fruit pies, right? Because there's a New Zealand guy making New Zealand pies in New York, and he's had to really turn around people to eating meat in their pies. So that's no help to Pete. And the second one, in the words of the Reverend Al Green, that's not a question. In the words of the Reverend Al Green, love is the MSG and the MSG is love.
Are we talking about Al Green?
Well, it seems someone's just made a statement about MSG rather than asked you a question. I apologise. Wow. I should have screened that. In the words of the Reverend Al Green, love is the MSG and the MSG
I think
is
it's love is happiness is what he's saying. Love and Happiness is a song from Al Green. You see what I'm saying about this thing that I have?
But I think he's making
brain?
a reference to MSG because it's about food.
The only MSG I know is Madison Square Garden, baby.
And also, I will say that I've got the record somewhere, and I'm going to forget the band. There is a 70s funk band that does a tune called Love is the Message. It's spelled MSG. I think it's Mother, Father, Sister, Brother that do that.
Way over my head, my G. I'm just going to put that out there. Like, I do not understand.
Yeah, no, I didn't understand it either. But, I mean, we got what we paid for. So we've talked about Twitch. We've talked about how do you find the time. You also are a intermediate teacher, which I find quite fascinating because I'd imagine that's quite a full-on job on its own. How long you been a teacher, and how long has it been intermediate?
Like 6 years now.
Yeah, right.
Maybe. Actually, I think it's 5 years.
So you went to TCOL like a few years before that.
No. So I used to work at Child, Youth and Family.
Yeah, right.
I worked in the boys' home there.
Oh, all right.
And that's when I really, to be honest, that's when I really honed my skills on how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Because, bro, your fucking head is on the line, my bro.
Yeah.
These 18-year-olds don't fucking play. Like, if you don't know how to de-escalate situations and how to read people's body language, you're lasting there for about maybe a month, and you're gone. I was there for like 4 years. And then I was like, fuck it. Then I had my daughter, and I was like, man, I need to do something that's a little bit less dangerous. And
so were you a counselor? Were you a counselor there?
No, I was a youth worker. So I was in the residence pretty much 12 to 15 to 16 hours a day, looking after probably. But it sounds like
the sort of hecticness of it as well sounds like you're almost a de facto kind of prison screw as well. It's a combo of both.
That's exactly what it was. I was that, but for kids. I was the Rock and Gridiron Gang. You've seen Gridiron Gang?
Yeah,
that was me. Yeah. Okay, but so I was that guy in the juvenile penitentiary.
Yeah, it takes a lot out of you, man.
And that was a very, very hard slog, but I learned so much around how to talk to people and how to read people's body language, and how to understand, and that's where I honed my skills on, like being able to take educated swings on questions and things like that. Yeah, it's from that. Anyway, and then I was like, fuck, I need to go I'm coming home all fucking sad because this happened, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, let's go and train to be a teacher. I did that. And then after that, I got shoulder tapped to do basketball full-time to be the development manager for counties, Auckland and Waitakere and a thing. And I did that for 6 years. And then my registration was about to expire. So I was like, fuck, I better get, and then I paid so much to do this, to get my diploma, and I better use it. Oh, my bachelor's.
You know what I love about that really nuanced answer is that it's completely shut down my, oh my God, 11 and 12-year-olds must be so unmanageable. It's like you came from like, I came from fucking 10-year-olds trying to stab me. Yeah, that's right. Getting shivved by like
on the daily, my bruv.
Yeah.
And like, kids like plotting to fucking kill you. And then I come to like regular school and I'm like, man, these kids are nothing. My behavior management skills, Mario, I'm telling you.
Hey, so I know like often talking about COVID and stuff, a bit of fatigue around that, but like I do like asking people I have on who are dealing with people of different ages and different, kind of situations in New Zealand and stuff like, how do you think because they're kind of coming into adulthood, right? Intermediate, such funny years. How do you think they're coping with the last couple of years and stuff?
Man, that's an interesting one. I think the person to person stuff.
Yeah.
Especially this year more than any, has been really rough.
Yeah.
And some of these kids that are really kind of fallen through the cracks and need help with their literacy and their mathematics and stuff like that.
They've fallen through because of COVID, or that's exacerbated.
No. I mean, like past wise, when you can't reach out to them and show them on a whiteboard, this is a strategy to use, or you can't say, hey, we use and before we use ah.
Yeah.
Because, bro, the fucking spell check will do it for them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things like that. But hey, bro, like, fuck, bro, if the world gives you lemons, bro, you got to make some lemonade.
That's right, and, with a mask on. I mean, like, because I think those transition years, I mean, everyone's got their story, right, about what is tough for them with COVID, some more than others, but just thought, Form 2 going into third form, that's a big thing that you normally do in person. Yep. And then the other one, is I just finished teaching my third years at work, and I don't normally teach third years, so they should have been finishing their degree and going out and graduating and going and getting too drunk and trying to bonk each other and have a good summer and all of that. And their course finished in lockdown, with a kind of fizz rather than a bang.
Yeah.
Sort of,
it's hard.
And how did you find, I won't stay too long on this, but how did you find teaching online on Zoom? Do you find it to be annoying, or did you cope okay?
I think I was the best in New Zealand at doing distance learning. Bro, I'm a content creator.
Yeah,
I could roll up my green screen and be in fucking France if I wanted to be. Yeah. I had tricks up my sleeve that no other teacher would have had.
You mix that up with a chest full of wigs, and that's it. I had a wig day.
Yeah, man. Like I mean, for instance, bro, I would use like online. Like we were doing art, right? So we were doing art.
Yeah.
We were learning about Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Right. I would put something like, here's Nike ID where you can make your own shoes.
Yeah.
Design me a pair of Nikes that are inspired by Vincent van Gogh's work.
Yeah.
So away they went.
Great.
They got Starry Night ones, blue and gold, and then then they'd finish that, and I'd say, okay, now what you got to do is market the shoes.
Was he the one who lost his ear?
Oh, man, he cut his own ear off.
Yeah, so you'd have to have one. I reckon you'd have one shoe that didn't have a swoosh.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like we'll let you go shortly. I think you're.
Oh man, plenty of time.
No, it's all good. I think it's been it's flowing by. Mate. How long do you generally go for with episode length?
I used to go for as long as I could, bro, because I didn't know how long I'd be able. I was like, fuck, bro, I got to get as much, but between like an hour 15.
I'm the same. I'm a 60-90 guy these days.
I mean, bro, I had John Campbell on the call for 3 hours, bro.
That's great.
I had Shea Fu on for 3.5. Like I'm just trying to like push it for as long as I can because it's more content for me. I just have to do what I have to do with it,
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's been awesome, bro. It's been great to meet you, catch on up. You should listen to, if you probably haven't listened to any of my pod eps, eh?
I've listened to a few, bro.
Yeah, because there's a couple of people you'd be interested in on there for sure. I've had like Erman on. I've had. I drove to Hastings to have DLT on. That was important to me.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, bro. Erman is a motherfucking gangster, my G.
If you want to get Erman, we talked about leaving the Cobras and stuff. If you want to try and get him on, just a wee pointer. He comes back because he lives in Perth now.
Wow.
Well, you think about it, you leave the KCs. If you're going to go live in Australia, you're going to go and live as far away as possible. But he comes back for, he does security for Rhythm and Vines every year.
Oh, yeah. And but I mean, bro, his imprint in South Auckland is everywhere.
That album, what I actually wrote in the write-up for that episode, this is the term I used, that, now I'm going to forget the name of it. Samoans, what's the album called? His main album that got a record company release. Anyway, I referred to it as a slept-on classic. Like, it's one of the best New Zealand hip-hop albums ever that hardly anyone knows about. And he still produces. He's just really underground. Just before you go, you are moving out of Auckland, are you? You're saying, are you going to... So by the time you come to my event next year, where are you going to be living?
I'll be in Taranaki, man. I'll be straight back on the whenua, Te Atiawa.
And you're from there. You're from there.
Yeah, my whanau from my iwi is. It's funny, like my
that's a buzzy place. That mountain's amazing.
It's beautiful, man. It's like for the first, I was really lucky. I did a keynote at a event down there.
Yeah,
and it was the first time I got to go home in like 20. Oh no, it would have been like 10 years actually. And bro, the minute I got off the plane, bro, and I saw that moon, my brother, I just got this like volt of energy, and I was just like, I need to do what I have to do to try and get my whānau back here, to get back on the tūranga waiwai, feeling that power, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, we're just I'm just in the process of learning about how and to buy houses.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So yeah, I'm learning about that at the moment.
Great, man. Yeah, I'm not a woo-woo guy by any means, but in closing, like, I think it's something to do not only with places that are home, but places that have that kind of topography, because I'm from Wellington, but it's more than that. There's something about in that bowl of rock that makes Wellington really particular. And again, I feel that same sort of energy in a different way in New Plymouth. New Plymouth, somewhere when I first went there, I go, okay, this place has got it's got an energy to it. Before you go, I'm going to do something completely useless for a podcast audience. I'm going to show you the logo that Otis Frizzell sent me through and yet to be publicly announced event that you are going to be contributing to. Can you see that?
Nah, my G, you don't have your video on.
Oh, really?
You haven't had your video on the whole time, my bro.
Oh, really?
Okay. There we go. It's coming. There we go, my bro.
Oh, you should have told me. Sorry, that's terrible. That wasn't on purpose.
Oh man, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
I said I wanted it to have kind of Aotearoa flavours, but he's not gone too over the top in that regard. He's just chosen the colours that way. Oh, man, sorry about the camera. Anyway, I'll let you go. I think what you're doing is awesome. And, I'm sure you'll get a few more listeners coming out of this as well. And I'll get this up shortly.
Hey, it's not about that. You know what it's about, bro? It's about sharing and everybody in the same waka going the same way. Because you know what, bro? No matter who's running the race, my G, it doesn't fucking matter, because the rising tide will raise all the walkers. Yeah. And if you succeed, I succeed. If I succeed, you fucking succeed.
That's why I reached out. And I think last word is you're very polite to talk to an email address for an hour and a half and not tell me that happened. I'm going to think about that all night. All right, bro.
My brother, thank you.
See ya. Bye.